And of course, being a libertarian, it's absolutely time to end, to repeal the laws, federal laws against consensual crimes. Aside from being immoral, again, it's a waste of money. It's just, you know, with the drug war, I don't know how long we'll have to continue with the drug war before, again, politicians see the light on this. The Colombianization of Mexico is very scary. I just saw something where there were 49 deaths in Tijuana, you know, about a week ago or something like that, and they think were connected with the drug war. It's coming. It's affecting border cities where now a lot of people don't want to cross the border into Mexico because of the lawlessness over there that is just fed by the drug war, fed by the profits of drug prohibition. The theme of my campaign is that anything that's peaceful, meaning anything that's peaceful, should be legal. It's not a pacifist statement, and the Libertarian Party is not pacifist. We think there ought to be a strong defense of the United States and the people and property in it. But as far as the activities in this society, I think the yardstick ought to be anything that's peaceful should be legal, and that goes for gambling as well. The United States, it's incredible that we foster lotteries in the United States, that the state runs, something that just speaks terribly ill, in my opinion, of the state of the thinking in our society. I just absolutely loathe is the justification of gambling on collectivist grounds. You know, it's good for the schools. Oh, it's good for the old people. Oh, it's good for, you know, this cause or that cause, or we raise tax revenue, we need more tax revenue, and oh, we need to cut a good deal with the casino company, ... Gambling is a peaceful activity, and in a free society, it should be legal, period. And that's the end of my story in that, except that we are, we're even in violation of international trade agreements. The World Trade Organization, I believe it's Antigua and Barbados, have taken the United States to task with the World Trade Organization because of the U.S. ban on online gambling. And they have some businesses in their nations that have been hurt financially by the fact that it's illegal for Americans to get on their computer in their own home and gamble with real money on websites, and whether they're offshore or not. And I don't know what the status of that is, but here's the nation of the free that has banned that, and we have other nations that are possibly going to try to abrogate agreements, I believe, regarding intellectual property of U.S. companies in response, try to set up a tit for tat to hopefully coax the United States into relaxing its ban on online gambling, and that would benefit businesses in those nations. But again, I think that I don't think gamblers owe this society more than anybody else in terms of taxes or trying to have their funds do good works. I think that we need to walk the talk as a society, and actually walk the talk of being the land of the free, and not just mouth the words as so many politicians do whenever it suits them on the 4th of July. I think the fundamental problem in this nation right now, and don't get me wrong, this nation has great potential. It is a great nation. I love the United States. There's so much wonderful about this nation. We're going to continue to grow economically. The future is much better than our past, the problems that this nation has notwithstanding. But it's very difficult to sit and listen and watch major party politicians. I don't care whether it's Warner and Gilmore for U.S. Senate. I don't care whether it's Obama and McCain for president. All you hear from major party politicians these days is more government. The prescription is always more government. Even John McCain rails against the greed on Wall Street regarding the financial crisis. The government has its fingerprints all over it, between the Community Reinvestment Act and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and trying to push the dream of home ownership, trying to push all these good things on the American people, but not looking at the hidden costs. Actually, I steal this phrase all the time from Jim Lark, that he absolutely nailed it one night. We were sitting at my house in Northern Virginia, and he said the following: "The American people are unable to distinguish between that which is good and that which is just. They think that what is good is just, and that isn't necessarily so. It may be good to take money from somebody who's well off and give it to the poor. Maybe it's arguable, but is it just? It's not just. And the problem also, here's another fundamental problem with government being positioned as an agent for good, is that there is an infinite amount of good to be done in this world. There is an infinite amount of good to be done in this world, and when you position government as an agent for good instead of an agent for justice, you give it license to get involved in every nook and cranny of our lives. The whole limited government ballgame is over at that point. It's over. And we need to reclaim that. We need to talk to people about the philosophy of libertarianism, but we have to first get people in this nation to begin to think about repositioning government as an agent for justice instead of an agent for good. And at the end of the day, once we do that, I do think it's possible, but I will have to say that with aging demographics, as people get older, they tend to become more interested in security than liberty. I think that's a natural progression as people get older, generally. But the cause is not lost. I do think it's ultimately possible not just to convert the thinking of the people of the United States, but people around the world to reposition government as an agent for justice. But I do think that that is probably a necessary precondition to bringing to this nation, to this world, libertarian governments and libertarian societies. With that, I want to say thank you so much for your kind attention. I respectfully ask for your vote sometime between now and 7 p.m. on November 4th, and not just for me, but also for Bob Barr, the Libertarian candidate for President of the United States. And again, I want to thank you for your kind attention and your hospitality. And with that, I will address any questions.
Plenty of time for questions.
Thanks.